Good afternoon, everybody. It is Tuesday and it is midday, so that can mean only one thing. Yes, I'm here to talk you through 20 minutes of educational knowledge on HubSpot. And for you this week, I'm going to be talking all about tasks. So, for those of you that are super organized and love tasks, this is going to be right up your street. For those of you that are massively disorganized, like myself, then they are really good to help you attempt to be organized. Now, I use them quite religiously now to kind of definitely give myself that reminder that I need to do something, particularly from a sales point of view. If you have conversations whereby people say, well, let's talk again in a couple of months, let's talk in 6 months. You're, very unlikely to remember that unless you stick it in your diary and remember that that's going to happen at that exact moment. The great thing about Task and HubSpot is that there's a living, breathing record of what you said you're going to do. You can obviously be committed to it. You can have different kind of pipelines for different sets of tasks, and you can get it to email you. You can, even with professional tools, you can actually bombard yourself and kind of set up an automation to even text you or WhatsApp you. There's all sorts of possible ways to constantly remind yourself that you need to do something. For me, ideal, I need to be told about 10 times. So it helps me massively. So let's get stuck in and see what Task is all about. So as ever, when I start these little sessions, I like to start from the very first screen in HubSpot. So for most people, that is going to be your dashboard. So from here, we're going to navigate around the rest of HubSpot. So in order to get to Task, we're going to go up to Sales menu, and we're going to click third method down and click on Tasks. So as you can see, because this is my demo portal for these sessions, there is no data here as yet. So it's going to be great, and we're going to start to create some tasks for ourselves. So firstly, I just want to talk you around this particular view and what you can do. So as you can see, there is the first tab is kind of all your tasks, and this can be, you can click on and you can like edit or delete or reorder the view. HubSpot handily creates what they call queues, or I call tabs, but effectively filter sections for these tasks. So due today, overdue, upcoming, most engaged, completed, and you can go ahead and add a queue. So for example, if we add a queue called follow up, which is what I tend to have set up for those follow-up tasks, because they're going to be typically in the future, but I want to be able to see what they're like at any time. If we come down, you can obviously see a search box where you can search tasks. If you've got a huge list of these tasks there, you'll be able to search for something specific. And also, if you're working as part of a customer service team, as part of a sales team, you'll be able to see other people's tasks and see who's assigned to them. So by default, you're going to be seeing your tasks, the ones that are assigned to you. But if you need to see that someone else has a task, because you can also set tasks for other people, depending on internal how that works. But certainly, I could set a task for, say, Steve to follow up with somebody in particular, or I could set tasks internally with the team members, maybe to send over a report or check something out. Now, we don't use HubSpot ourselves for that purpose because we have a very specific project management system that runs the studio. But certainly in a sales environment, like pre-clients coming on board, that would be ideal. And hopefully as our team grows, that's something that we will be taking advantage of here at Finally. So I'm going to go ahead and create a task. So as obvious it is, we're going to click the button in the top right-hand corner here, which is Create Task. We're going to give that task a title. So it might just be something as simple as, call Rob to check how things are going. So the type is a drop down here. So, what kind of task is this? So is it something you need to do? Is it a call you're going to make? Is it an email you need to send? Is it maybe a sales nav request, or an email if you've got sales nav? So you select that. In this instance, it's going to be a call. We're going to choose our priority. Obviously, high priority means not very much if you set everything with a high priority. So I would typically not have a priority set unless there's something very urgent. And probably for me, that would only be if I was assigning something to somebody else, just to try and flag that as something, this does need attention and it needs attention now. But for myself, pretty much everything that I do is going to have the same priority. Most things are going to be, on the same level. So we can associate this with a contact record. So for example, if this call was, let's have for a particular contact, we'd log that against their activity record. So also anyone else visiting that contact would be able to see that there are tasks either completed or outstanding or upcoming against that contact record. So you would simply come into here and search for the contact. These are all fake contacts. Let's search for Alan. Oh, there is an Alan. So Alan Aubrey is who this is going to be associated against. Next, it's who are we assigning this task to? So again, this is like going to be myself for now. If I had a team member that wanted to assign this to, I could very much do that by simply clicking in the drop down, either scrolling down if the list is short or searching for them by name. And then which queue would we like this to be put into? So for me, I've created this new follow-up queue that you can see here. And here is that being selected. Obviously, I could put it in no queue, and that would literally live in your default task management system. But I want it to be in follow-up because this is very much a follow-up call. And then we're looking at the due date. So when does this task need to be completed by? So I guess here you have the option of two things. If it's something that needs to be done, the due date could be set in the future, then you can assign that due date. So if it's like create a document, I need it by this date, brilliant. For me, obviously, when I'm making calls, I tend to set my due date as the time that I want to make that call. So that it tells me like, here we go, make that call. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and set this for 3 months time. I probably won't be calling someone at 8 o'clock. I think a good time is 10:30, gives me a chance to settle into the day. And then I'm going to set some reminders. So if I'm going to make that call at 10:30, because of knowing who I am, I'm going to need like a half-hour reminder. So that's going to email me or contact me through various methods at 10 o'clock to tell me, in half an hour's time, you need to call Alan, which I will then go ahead and do. You can obviously leave some notes here against tasks. So, like spoke to Alan and agreed to follow up in 3 months as not quite the right time now. We'll give Alan a capital A just because he deserves it. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and create. So obviously, I will now have that living in my tasks. What does that mean for me? Well, two things. So if I show you by opening up Alan's contact record, you'll see that the task is there, so anyone can see that. But also in the contact record itself, you can filter on tasks. So by looking along the top here in the activity field, we can click on tasks and we can see that there is an upcoming task. We can expand that task out and see the kind of details around that. So that's great by being able to filter at contact level. You can do that against companies as well and even deals. But effectively, if there were multiple tasks here, it's a really easy way to see that and also understand like if people are doing similar things. If you did have two people that were trying to follow this person up, by having generated tasks, it would hopefully eliminate the need for people making that mistake and both contacting them. And as I said, it lives in the activity feed like everything else, and you can scroll through, and as this gets more populated, this is going to maybe move down the activity feed because it's going to be showing me what's coming up. So we could go to the task tab and see it all in specific. So secondly, I've lost my train of thought, apologies. No, so what I now want to show you, is the notifications. Notifications are crucial very much to me because I am notoriously bad and I need to be told 10 times. So if we go to settings, which is the cog in the top right hand corner of your screen, come down to the second option on your left hand side, which is notifications. And this is going to be kind of defining globally all your notifications for everything that happens in HubSpot. I'm going to talk to you today about tasks, but another show we'll go through each of these in more detail. So as you'll see along the top, it's saying all of the ways you can be notified. So email, desktop, other applications, and mobile app. The mobile app is really handy to get if you haven't got that. Install that on your phone. It gives you all sorts of benefits, such as being able to call contacts from your mobile, but accessing their contact record via the app, and then it automatically logs the call. But also it means that you potentially can have push notifications running on your phone. So that's another way to remind you if that's a way that works for you. It does for me. So I obviously have my phone with me everywhere I go, and it will just give me that gentle nudge that, hey, you've got a task upcoming and you need to do something about it. What I'm going to show you is going to be the same for all of these sections. So I'm just going to look at email as the top. So it's saying, firstly, check that it's turned on. So you can see, yep, email will be sent to my inbox, and that is turned on. So everything that I'm allowing HubSpot to notify me by email will be delivered. But as we say, we're interested in tasks. So about 2/3 of the way down, you'll see tasks. So if you expand tasks, this is all of the different notifications that you can or choose not to receive via email. So firstly is a daily digest. So that means that each morning you get a summary of your upcoming tasks or tasks that are maybe overdue, just to give you a gentle reminder, this is what you need to be achieving. It's quite a handy, very short, snappy email. And then very much the specific notifications that you have. So when is a task been assigned to you, you want to be notified. When a content within the task is changed, just when the actual reminder is due that you've set. So as you remember, I set a task for myself, and I set myself a reminder 30 minutes before that task due date. So that is going to email me 30 minutes before. And also if anyone mentions you, so throughout HubSpot ecosystem, it uses the kind of standard way to mention people, tag people. So if you do the @ symbol and start typing someone's username, you can effectively tag them or mention them in notes, tasks, deals, conversations on live chat, etc., etc. It's a really handy way to grab someone's attention, and if they have this turned on, then they're going to get an email about that as well. So it's something that is going to reach them. So email is one that we looked at. Obviously, HubSpot itself has its own notification center. So in the top right-hand corner of our screen, next to our profile picture, you'll see the bell, and that is your notification center. So throughout here, it will also remind you. So even if you didn't have email notifications turned on, the fact that you've got a task set, it is going to notify you internally in HubSpot's notification center. And another great one to have turned on, if we actually flip to the desktop notification, is the browser notifications. So depending on how you work, if you don't live in HubSpot day to day, and have it open, which is understandable, not everybody does, then you probably want to make sure that you've got that email or mobile notification turned on. If, however, like myself, HubSpot is the mainstay of my day to day, I will have HubSpot open in my browser along with LinkedIn and my mail. And what they are, I have them as pinned tabs in Chrome. So they are always open, and they will always open when I start Chrome if for whatever reason it was shut down. So the browser notification is really good if you're not actually focused on HubSpot. So that isn't my active window. So let's say I'm just, I don't know, on Google. But I have HubSpot open in a pinned tab. Then by enabling browser notifications, that's going to be that classic slide in from the top right-hand corner in Chrome, where you're notified. If you click on that, it will jump you through to HubSpot and for you to action the task. You can, if you really want, you can also play a sound or display a red dot in your browser. I don't have those because I get enough sounds and enough distractions throughout my day from my mobile and from just generally. So I just have it as a visual cue, because if I'm working, it kind of will slide across. I can spot that. And obviously if I'm not ready to, deal with it right then and there, but it does give me, again, that gentle reminder that I've got to do something, and there's something for me to look at in HubSpot. When I get that free moment, I can jump across and check out what that was by clicking on the bell, and that's going to list all of those notifications that have been recent. And obviously you should be able to figure out what it was that it was trying to tell you. Probably in my case that something's overdue, because I set myself so many tasks and then don't end up doing half of them on time, or people have changed the goalpost. So then it gives you an opportunity to just reset that time and date, set yourself another reminder, or tick it off if you're done or decided that actually it's no longer needed. So that was kind of the key ingredients to notifications. Obviously, all of you are going to have your own personal preferences, totally understand that, but this is how you go ahead and change it. The final thing to just check under preferences is go to general, which is the top option in the left hand menu, and then the tabs along the top, click tasks, and you can predefine your defaults. So if you know that you're going to always want a reminder, then you can go ahead and set a reminder, maybe 30 minutes before. Click save in the bottom left, you'll see that this has appeared. If you don't click save, it's not going to save it. So click save, successful message appears here telling me that those are now updated. Again, probably the default due time for me, 10:30 is probably the best. So I'm going to save that. And so now you're going to see that whenever I go to create a new task, those defaults are already set up. So if we click here, it's going to remind me in 3 business days at 10:30, it's going to send me a task reminder 30 minutes before. And obviously that will follow the preferences that you've set under the notification preferences that we looked at just before that. So I think that is all of the things that I wanted to show you on tasks. I really hope that you found that useful. As ever, please, send me any questions you have. I kind of really appreciate questions coming in. It's really nice that I had a few comments this week of people that have found these videos useful, which inspires me to carry on doing them for you each week. Please go ahead and check out our YouTube channel. All of these videos, if you don't get the pleasure of watching me mess this up live on a Tuesday, they're all found on YouTube forevermore. And Chris, our amazing social maestro, gets them all organized, makes a nice pretty thumbnail, and kind of they're there for you to go back and see. So if you go ahead to YouTube, give us a subscribe. There's some really great content, not only from myself and HubSpot training, but Ella talks about SEO and all things digital. Chris does some amazing videos. If you haven't caught some of Chris's videos, I highly recommend you check those out. They are all going to be around social and the benefits of learning and testing and doing different things across social and how to use it. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as I said, any likes and comments, questions, feel free to send them over. It just keeps me motivated, and it's great to know that people are watching them, and hopefully I'm making a very small difference to your HubSpot journey. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll see you next Tuesday at midday as ever. And in the meantime, please enjoy the rest of your day and the sun that's shining out here in Canterbury. I hope it is for you too.